I'm Jeanne Bernick, editor of Top Producer magazine, and I'm here with Vince Peterson with the U.S. Wheat Associates. And Vince just gave us a great presentation with some global perspective on what's going on in the wheat market around the world. Vince, would you mind just telling me again some of the top things that you see going on in the global wheat market?
Yeah, sure, Jeanne. We tried to look a little bit today at moving our vision from maybe what's happening immediately in front of us with day-to-day trade and wheat price volatility, looking out ahead a little bit at the prospects and the economics of producing wheat as it competes with corn and soybeans and other oilseed crops, not only in the United States, but around the world, and then looking forward how that compares a little bit with growing demand for wheat, which is on a trajectory with population that's kind of unprecedented.
But there's a big gap that's going on between the consumption and the production. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an underlying story that maybe doesn't get talked about very much, but really for the last 30 years, wheat land area, not only in the United States, but around the world, has been on a declining trend line. That's not to say it may go that way forever, but as compared to the consumption demand, which is on a trend the other direction, we've got this gap that's developing, and frankly, that's unsustainable. We can't continue to reduce land area in the United States, in Argentina, in Western Europe, other places, and continue to feed a population that's going to grow from 6.8 up to 9 billion in the next 30 years.
And the usual players, the Ukraine and Russia, that used to kind of fill that gap with wheat production, aren't necessarily going to be able to do that anymore. Explain why that is.
Well, it's rather an interesting change. Russia entered the world as an exporter of wheat in about 2002, 2003, so relatively recently, but frankly in a big way. And the market has begun to think that will be there forever, that Russia will be a supplier of wheat, and they likely will be. The question will be, will Russia also succumb to the same economic pressures to produce that crop that we do here in the United States, as does Canada, as does Argentina, as does every other country? My guess is that the Russian farmers eventually will switch over, as U.S. farmers have done, to corn, soybeans, higher yielding, higher price, higher return crops, and move relatively away from wheat, frankly, unless, again, something changes that economic equation.
Very good. Well, this competition in the wheat market is certainly something that we'll all be watching going forward. So thank you very much, Vince.
Thanks, Jeanne.
Bye-bye.